the final part of our module on data cleaning, we'll talk a little bit about the ethics of data cleaning. The ethics of data cleaning have to do with what you do with missing values and what you do with outliers. So we saw that missing values need to be labeled as missing in a way that is clearly different than the other information that's within that variable. But what do you do when you have a lot of missing data, or if some really important pieces of data are missing? We've talked in previous modules about missing entire parts of the population. So what if no one who lives in an institution is included in your data? So that's a sort of a meta level of missing data. And then another level of missing data is, what if the population is included, but key elements of that population simply didn't answer the question? So if you were doing a survey on income and ethnicity and employment status in various states, and key subpopulations of your data set did not choose to answer the income question. So if say 20% of the data in the variable income is missing, what do you do about that? You need to spend a little bit of time looking and seeing if the missing income is related to other variables. So did people of one ethnicity mostly not answer the income question? Or did people of one age mostly not answer the income question? Or did just a random variety of people not answer the income question? The answer to that analysis really tells you what you should do with the missing data. So if the data is just missing at random, then you're pretty safe to just go ahead and analyze the data without the missing data included. If, however, the data is missing in particular patterns, so if mostly people of one ethnicity chose not to answer the income question, then move ahead and just analyze that data with a huge chunk of a subpopulation's income data missing will lead you to results that are not reliable and that are biased and very subjective, even though you don't intend them to be. So if you think your data might be missing because of a reason other than just randomness, you need to spend some time talking with some kind of a statistical analytical expert who can help you walk through the options of what to do with your missing data. One thing would be certainly to talk about it in your data journalism piece. There are ways to kind of impute or maybe guess in a sophisticated way what the missing data might mean. There's an outstanding talk by Andy Kirk on the design of nothing. It's really a good investment of time that can help you figure out how to deal with missing data from a design, from a visualization perspective. But it's important that you spend time and not just plow ahead with without considering what data is missing. Second thing is the outliers issue. As we saw when we were looking at the numbers in Tableau, sometimes outliers exist because of measurement error or because of somebody writing the wrong number into an Excel spreadsheet. Those outliers should definitely be removed. There's no ethical issue around that. However, what about outliers that are there for a reason, that aren't there by mistake? I'll give you a good example of this. We were writing a journalism piece here in the Toronto region in Canada on juvenile arrests for gang-related and gun-related violence. And we had a whole bunch of data, and there was 2 areas that seemed to be very high, much higher than any other areas in the number of arrests. And one of the areas was consistently high, and one of the areas changed quite rapidly and went from being very low to being very high to being very low again. And so what were we to do with these 2 outliers? When deciding what to do with an outlier, you need to talk to an expert on the data. And what it turned out was that one of the areas was consistently high because that actually was the court, the main court in Toronto. And if the address isn't known for the arrest. They simply put the address of the court in the conviction, and then it gets recorded in that neighborhood as a crime occurring in that neighborhood, when it isn't actually occurring in that neighborhood, but it's being convicted in that neighborhood. So in that outlier, we needed to remove that because it was giving us a false idea of what was going on in terms of crime rates. The other outlier, however, was going up and down quite rapidly because of some changes in policing and social policy in a very unique neighborhood. And the fact that that neighborhood was very low and then very high and then very low compared to an average across Toronto was a very, very important outlier. And that outlier, in fact, turned out to be the heart of our story, and would have been very unethical to remove that outlier. So it's very important that you take the time to figure out what the outliers are in your story and to get rid of the ones that are going to create bias or false information in your story, and to really keep and nurture the ones that are going to turn out to be the heart of your story. So that's the ethics of data cleaning.